Hi everybody, welcome along to the first ever David Power Jockeys Cup podcast. And the best place to start was the man who's leading, blazing the trail at the head of it. It is Harry Skelton. Hi Harry, you well?
How are you doing, Niall?
All good, not as good as you. You're on course to win £500,000 to add
on
on to your other
course.
millions.
Yeah, on course. But if I get that, I'll be a few pound behind you, so all will be all right.
That's not funny, and it's definitely not true. Because even before you sat on a horse, your father being the legend that he is, you were like multi-millionaire, and then your brothers made more millions, and then you started riding, and then you were champion jockey, 9 Cheltenham Festival winners. So that's just not true. That's just lies. So no more lies through the show, please.
Right, we'll just cut it at that, and we'll say we're both doing all right anyway.
Well, yeah, one of us is doing considerably better than the other. It's been good, hasn't it? Tell us about it. Like, do you know, in horse racing and social media, it's just so grim, and everyone wants to moan about anything. It's not going to benefit me because I'm not a jump jockey, as you well know. But like the top 10 are going to make money. The winner it's life changing money, isn't it? £500,000, and it's money that this time last year wasn't in the sport. It's not like we've taken it off prize money or taken it from somewhere else. So there's nothing to moan about, is there?
No, absolutely not. Look, there's always going to be someone who's not quite happy about it, and they'll think that the money should be distributed in other ways. But at the end of the day, this is a complete separate pot of money that's come into racing. Yes, for the benefit of jockeys, and trainers, and stable staff. The winning trainer takes 50,000. The winning stable staff take 50,000. So I think that I worked it out. I think all of our stable staff will be probably on somewhere about £1,200 bonus. That's enough to. If I won, that would what it would be, and that's enough to pay for a good holiday for them, and it's a massive help. So look, yes, people are never, you're not going to please everyone, but unfortunately that's the way it is, and but jockeys have taken it with both hands, and no, it's an unbelievable amount of prize money offer, all the way down to 10th. So, yeah, fantastic.
The one I like as well is the conditionals, and 25,000 they get the leading conditional. Do you know, when you're a young lad coming through, that's massive money. I think Dylan Johnson's the leading conditional at the minute.
Yeah, I think Dylan is leading that. Him and Freddie Gingell are up there. But again, massive amount of money for them guys. That I'm sure will be a big use to them.
Right, you're leading 232 points. Sam Twiston-Davies 204. Harry Cobden 194. Nico de Boinville 188. Sean Bowen 166. Gavin Sheehan 116. Charlie Deutsch 102. Ben Jones 98. John O'Neill Jr. 82. Brendan Powell 80. 11th is Tom Cannon 72. And James Bowen 64. Who is your biggest danger? I know what my answer is. Who's your biggest danger?
I would say my biggest danger would be Nico de Boinville.
Yeah, agree.
Great minds, Neil.
Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously it's ITV racing. You look at it, how strong they are at the Cheltenham Festival. Where is he now? He's 188, so it's not that one good weekend could swing it, couldn't it?
Exactly that. One good weekend could swing it. And although I'm leading at the minute, there's still a hell of a long way to go. But one thing I do think as well, though, the only thing, is the points is 10 for a win, 8 for second, 6 and 4. So you're still picking up like good points even if you're in the first 4. Only points down to 4. So if you're in the first 4, you're picking up good points anyway. So it's not that dependable all on winning. And if you're picking up a lot of rides like Sammy Twiston's doing, you can keep chipping away, and there's no reason to think why he isn't a proper contender for it. I do think Nico's probably the one, because I'd say that he has the strongest firepower in terms of winners, but maybe he doesn't have the terms of rides, whereas Sammy probably will. So I think it's well open. No, I really do.
Yeah, it's you've got a nice mix, haven't you, of quality and quantity, really.
Yeah, look, we obviously run a lot of horses, on Saturdays, and we're trying to chase as much prize money as we are anyway. So it comes hand in hand. Plenty of rides on ITV. So yeah, hopefully we can pick a few winners up, but keep picking up points. Like I was at Doncaster at the weekend, and I was second, third, and fourth. Well, I come home with with plenty of points. So
Hmm.
even if you're if you can pick up points, that there's not a lot between winning and down to fourth. So I think it's interesting.
Is of the jockeys, there's a million and a half reasons why they should, but if he's got into it, like when you're at Doncaster, I know you're going to be watching Cheltenham anyway when you come in between races, but are you keeping an eye on the other jockeys, or do you have a bit of crack about it?
For sure, like I've been keeping an eye on it. At the end of the day, it's £500,000 up for grabs to the winner. Uh, and yeah, there's plenty of plenty of banter about the weighing room. Sammy's well up for it.
He
Um,
will be because
yeah, he's
he's
hungry.
he's oh
He's
yeah.
hungry for it.
Out of the list, no one used it. Sam, if he found a plaster, he'd cut himself, wouldn't he? He knows the value of a pound.
Exactly. And he's mad for it. So um, yeah, I think there's plenty of banter about it, and there's plenty of lads now that want a bit of prize money. That is for sure.
If you do win, and what you do, you're quite dull, really, aren't you? You're not that much fun. Don't drink. Don't smoke.
Yeah.
Married with
Well,
children nowadays. What
to
are
be
you going to do
fair,
with?
to me, hang on. I had when I won the championship, I had a good party. Everyone seemed to enjoy that. So if I haven't, if I'm lucky enough to win it, I would have another party. I'd make sure I invited you this time.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you did invite me
so
last year. In fairness to you, I was
did
in
you come?
Ireland. I was in Ireland. I was otherwise engaged.
Yeah.
I'd love to have.
Well, so there you go. You missed out on a good party. So the lads are
Okay,
already
next.
giving me a bit. They're giving me a bit of stick already, saying basically if I win, they want another party like the one they had. Um, a few of them now said it was the worst hangover they've ever had in their life. Um, I won't mention any names, but a few were that drunk they slept in the muck heap. So
Yeah,
they obviously want
I've been
another
there.
night in the muck heap and yeah, have a good party. Um, so yeah, I'd like to do that. But God, I don't know really now. Got a young
What?
lad now, so yeah, might invest that something for him for further
Yeah,
down the line, and yeah, family to look after.
yeah. We'll come to. Isn't it Rory? We'll come to Rory
Yeah,
shortly.
Rory. Yeah.
Why do you not drink? What is it a professional thing that you see it more and more jockeys nowadays? Because you're not a big lad, you're very fit. You know you naturally do the weights. Is it a professional thing or just never fancy?
Yeah, yeah, it is a professional thing, really. I looked up to AP. He didn't drink. If it was good enough for him, it was good enough for me. I thought, well, that's what I need to do. There's in sport, you need to make sacrifices, and that's one of them that I made. I'd had a bit of a I've seen the worst of drink as well.
Yeah.
My mother was a bad alcoholic. It ended up getting the better of her, somewhat 18 years ago now. Um, it works for some people, but it really has the opposite effect on others. So I've seen both sides of drink, and it's not for me.
Rory, what age is he?
9 months.
9 months. How's
Yeah.
that? How's that gone? Obviously, your wife Bridget Andrews, when she was riding county hurdle winners, the Bridget Andrews county hurdle, I think it's going to be called this year. How is she doing, mum and son, and how are you? How's your life changed?
Oh, people say I won't change you or that, but it certainly does.
Hmm.
I just don't know. I don't know how we ever had time to do anything before we had
Hmm.
Rory. Um, all your, you got kids, but all your time's just into them, and yeah, it's great. We love it. Bridget's taken to it like a duck to water, and it's oh, he's an absolute delight. No, absolute
Yeah,
joy. Best thing that's ever happened to the pair of us in our lives so far,
yeah,
on a personal level. Um, and no, he's great crack. He loves it.
yeah. Good, good, and it just gets better. 9 months to be more interaction and more fun. Before you know it, it'll be riding ponies.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to sit on Protektorat already.
Yeah, as a
He
yeah.
likes, yeah, he's quiet. He's quiet around the yard, so he sits up on him. he sat on him on the stable, and
And
no,
you know what?
he's around horses all the time. So he's out there now at the minute. I think Bridget's feeding the foals. We've got some foals about, and he sits on the hay bales, and while she's feeding the foals, and trying to escape any accidents from them. They're a bit fresh in the pens at the minute.
And you know what? Say it skips a generation, so there's a good chance he could be very, very good if he's like his granddad, Nick
Yeah,
Skelton.
well, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm sure Grandad will be pushing him to get on a horse anyway.
Yeah. Tell us about you growing up. Your first memory would obviously your dad. Did you? What age were you when you realised how good he was?
Well, obviously, I've always been around horses. From day one with Dad, and
But they were show jumpers, or weren't race horses
yeah,
yet.
show jumpers. The first memory I had probably was in sort of like I remember him winning the World Cup final in '95 on a mare called Dollar Girl, and I was 6 then. That was the first real memory I had of him being, a top show jumper, if you like, and yeah, then it carried on, and I had a lot of ponies to ride, good ponies. I was spoilt. Um, a lot of owners sent us ponies to ride, and some were good, some were naughty, but I think it put a few manners on me really that the odd one or two would be tricky enough now. But I think that's what really
Mm.
sort of helped that foundation of riding skills. And I went into racing then when I was 16. Started riding out at Reg Hollinsheads when I was sort of 15, and Dad broke his neck in 2000. And that's why we sort of made the change to racing, myself and Dan, because Dad didn't really have a lot of show jumpers at the time, and if he'd have had probably a string of 15 or so, we'd have probably had to carry them show jumpers on. But he only had sort of 5 or 6 at the time, Arco being one of them, and yeah, we went down the racing route from then and never looked back since.
Did you ever go to the Olympics? Did you ever get?
Went to went to Athens. That was an absolute disaster. He was in gold medal position, and in Athens, the format was you carried your points the whole way through the competition, and he was like 3 fences in hand in the last leg, and it all went pear shaped. So, I cried my eyes out that we had the gold medal and then we didn't. So, but that's sport. 1 minute you're up,
Yeah.
next minute you're down, you're on your ass, and back to the drawing board. You take the rough with the smooth, and then we went. I didn't go to Rio, but I went to London. Um, yeah, that was great. And
That was
then
amazing, wasn't it,
obviously,
London?
yeah, London was fantastic. Team gold medal.
Was he 15, 15, 9, 58, 59?
He was 58 when he won in Rio.
Wow.
Yeah, so oldest British Olympian, gold
Yeah.
medalist. I think.
In-
Keep reminding him of that. He loves it.
yeah, but you see him nowadays. 'Cause I grew up, obviously older, but I grew up and household name. He was show jumping was much more. It was on Sunday night in BBC, but it was much more about. Nick Skelton was. You see him racing. You market racing on a Tuesday, Plumpton on a Sunday. He follows you around. He's there for you, isn't he?
Oh, massively. There's no doubt about it. He's mine and Dan's big supporter. But as much as you get a leg up in life, it's down to then it's down to me and Dan to keep it going.
Mm.
We don't just rest on laurels, and you know certainly like think that we work for it, and we keep the show running, and we try and make him proud for the leg up that he's given us, and yeah.
Do you,
um
do you?
he had a tough hard upbringing as well through the Edgars.
Yeah,
He was made to work, and um he certainly never let me or Dan just sit back and
I can see that. I can
take it
see.
for granted.
Yeah. Do you still speak to him today? Like, you know,
Every day.
no, as I mean, do you speak to him like, say, a horse falls who or is not jumping very well, or tactics? Do you speak to him? Is he critical of you? Can he be critical? Do
Oh
you?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Him and my granddad are the first ones to tell me, well, I've done something wrong. My granddad's 94.
yeah.
just what you want to hear when you deck 1-3 out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
you're a
Dan's
bit.
coming running at you as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah. Thanks for that, Grandad. Yeah. Really. Yeah. Just getting over it.
Yeah.
Um, but he'll ring. Grandad will ring every day on the way home from racing. Tell me how it's gone. And yeah, Dad'll be the same. Especially on the jumping side of things. If something didn't quite go to plan, or I had a different idea than the horse had, or yeah, most of the time you'd say, "Will you ever
Hmm.
grab hold of it?"
Hmm.
Yeah, you get stuck in now.
But what, 9 Cheltenham Festival winners and champion jockeys, so in turn you've made them very proud.
I'd like to hope so. Um, Look, growing up, all I ever wanted to do was be champion jockey. Watch AP collect that trophy so many times, and you just dream one day you'll be up there. And luckily, it happened. And look, I'm in with a fighting chance of it again this year. But I've got some great horses in the yard, some grade ones on the CV, and those big races are really special as well.
Yeah. You went to Paul Nichols. That would have been around Cotto, Denman, Big Bucks, them this
Yeah, all of
you were
them.
claiming. Yeah, yeah. What was the best horse you rode for Paul on the track?
I'd say probably, well, the best Rock on Ruby.
Yeah.
Won a novice hurdle on him around Newbury one day. Alpha off Celestial Halo. Um, yeah, many good horses. To be honest, Niall, I, I was I wasn't ready for that.
Hmm.
I was put on them too soon. They'd be flying along, you know, 3 out, and yeah, I wasn't ready for all of that. To be
Yeah.
honest, it was too soon, and it took me a bit of time to really land, get my
Hmm.
feet underneath me, and I was backward enough now on the track. Um, and it took me time to really get to grips with it, and I feel like you never stop learning.
Hmm.
I feel like even now, like I'm 35, I'm definitely down the back nine, rather than the front nine. But I think every day is a learning day, and still now things that I'd like to do differently than I did. But definitely looking back on it, I wish I'd have had the experience. But you don't.
Yeah.
You have to get that foundation underneath you, and that's why I think now. Paul always said, take your time," and
Hmm.
probably looking back, he was right.
Yeah, and it's hard for somebody who's young and wanting to do it yesterday.
Yeah,
It's
I
hard to
think I really do think that's like Bridget had a great ground in from point to point in.
Hmm.
And I do think that's something that obviously it's a lot of these point to points are run by the hunt, but they're struggling to keep them going. But I do think the foundations for a young jockey to stay amateur and ride point to points. I think the point to points should be supported as much as they can
Hmm.
from to support these younger jockeys coming through. Um, and to get a good foundation under their feet before they're ready to go and ride on the track. Because like, Ollie Murphy mentioned something the other day about
Amateurs riding the
uh,
bumpers.
in bumpers. Yeah, I agree, and I love seeing our younger conditionals and amateurs doing really well. I like to help them as much as I can, and I like to see them do well on the track. You know, it gives me a good kick seeing them do well. But I think whether the answer is letting them ride in bumpers on young, inexperienced horses, I'm not sure that's the right thing. But I'm all for putting on more amateur races. But I think if we can try and get a good foundation for young jockeys in point to points, I think that'd be a big help.
I think that's one of the biggest difference between Ireland and England. They've got Charlie Post and his better half are doing really well producing horses. And you look at an Aragon mean, there's a list of English point to pointers. You've got several of them who are doing really well on the track. And the English point to point scene maybe could be enhanced in some way, shape, or form, couldn't it?
100%. We've been bought a lot of young horses from Posts, Ellis's, um, Dawson's.
Yeah,
The list goes on.
yeah.
Like Tom Weston, we've bought a lot of good English pointer pointers that have done really well on the track. But I'll be honest, you go around some of those pointer points now, and things need to change, and people don't like change, unfortunately. But if they want to see their sport grow and do better for
Survive.
everyone, yeah, survive, and for the
Yeah.
people coming through, they need to change it because we've had Nick Pearce here, and he trains. He's had a few pointer pointers that have run under his name in separate care. Our staff ride them out at lunchtimes. Heidi Palin, she was lucky enough to have a go on Azuri. And we've put a lot of these good old chasers that have finished on the track that can't compete at that really high competitive level to drop down to points, to give these young people experience. And
Mm.
we turn up at the track, under Nick's care, and because they're in a Dan Skelton lorry racing, they all, some people are put out by that and basically turn their nose up. Well, it's a sad state of affairs, to be honest.
Mm.
And all we're trying to do is support younger jockeys coming through and give these good these good horses that are going point to point in a second lease of life.
Mm.
What else are we meant to do with them? But I must say, they need to change a few things and for the better, and like you say, to help survive. And if we weren't so sort of put off by a few people, then we'd like to have more.
You're the second lease, really, because it was 10 years ago on the 20th of December. You stayed at my house. I remember it because it was my daughter's birthday. But people won't realise, maybe, back then, I think you were at Catterick that day for one ride for the late Malcolm Jefferson on a 50-1 shot. You rode your claim out quick and you're with Paul Nicholls, and I suppose you're in danger of, or how close did you get to maybe pack it in?
Oh, never.
No, but
No,
what was your lowest tally that season, one of them seasons, your poorest season?
First season with 8 winners.
Well, there you go. So not a lot of people listening or watching this will think, if you said, maybe they wouldn't have thought you would have rode 8 winners in a season once you were a fully fledged professional. So do you know
Well,
what I
no,
mean?
some will think, well, yeah, some will think one thing, some think another, but 8 winners. But I never thought about stopping because it wasn't in, it's not in you. If you want to win and you've got that, you just keep going and you keep working away. And look, I was out on my arse with 8 winners, what was going to happen. But luckily Dan started training. We built up what we've got now, and thankfully that's well behind us. But it's a tough time when you lose your claim, and that's probably the problem. I rattled through my claim too quickly, and then I had no experience against the older jockeys, and was, to be honest, I was a small fish in a big pond and lost.
So basically, 10 years ago, you were staying at my hovel. Nowadays, you were at Catterick Weatherby last week, didn't ring me, you stayed at Grantley Hall, which is probably the number 1 hotel in England. True story?
That's a true story.
So that's how far you've come along.
Exactly. How times have changed,
Yeah, yeah. You'll not come back to my hovel again, will you?
I'm sure I will, yeah.
What horse is going to get you more points for this David Power Jockeys Cup? Protektorat's going to go to Kelso. That's a good little move, isn't it? Kelso in any entry?
Sorry, Grey Dawning.
Grey Dawning, sorry. What did I say? Protectorat?
Yeah.
Grey Dawning.
Yeah, no. Protektorat, sure, he'll go straight to the Ryanair.
Yeah.
He's come out of Lingfield really well. And he'll go straight to Ryanair. Grey Dawning, yeah, we think we'd probably go Kelso for the Premier Chase, and then on to Aintree. He's got a very understanding owner. His owner wants to run him in the race that we think is most likely to win. And me and Dan and Tom Messenger, our assistant, who has a big role to play in this. He rides him every day. He knows the horse inside out. We just feel that the best chance we have, we think, is going to Aintree for a Grade 1.
Yeah, we've seen it before. It's not something that Paul Nicholls has done many times, isn't it?
Yeah. I think we just want to give the horse the best chance of winning. Look, this year he was second, obviously, in the Betfair, and got hard enough racing, very testing ground. Then it was all over very quickly, and at Kempton in the King George, if that might have gone differently, we'd maybe thought about going carried on our thoughts of going for the Gold Cup. That's what we dreamed of, but unfortunately this year we won't be.
Fortune de Mare, really impressive at Cheltenham, loved it in the bumper. Will he go straight to the Cheltenham bumper?
We might give him another run. He's had quite a bit of a break since his last run, so I think you possibly could see him out in the next fortnight. We'll give him another run.
Or is it Newbury? Is that Newbury, the listed bumper? No, not that one.
Yeah, he won't go there. I think he'll just go for a smaller race.
Right.
I think there's a bumper there's plenty of bumpers coming up, to be honest. But he'll be out in the next fortnight. It'll just do him good, just take the edge off him before he goes to Cheltenham. But he's full of ability, as you saw there, and that
He kept
listed race
cantering,
that
didn't
he
he?
won.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
cantered into it.
I felt the first day he threw the race away a little bit. He's quirky enough. He drifted and hung out to his left, and you know, his mind wasn't on the job. But I got between the horse and the rail that day, and he had nowhere to go. So yeah, he's got a lot of ability.
Lotus Sud's got lots of ability.
Plenty. He'll be out week Saturday. Going to go to Warwick for the Kingmaker, and then on to the Arkle. Look, Sergino and many others obviously in there. We're not too naive to think that it's going to be as easy as it was back there when he won in October, um, or November, sorry. But yeah, he's the best we have, so hopefully we're there with a chance.
And if Sergino wins, then he gets 10 points. But if you finish second, you get 8 points. It's damage limitation, isn't it, for this £500,000?
Exactly. Any points will be much welcomed.
Unexpected party. Back for the scene of his crime last year?
Yeah, he'll go for the Grand Annual round quite nicely the other day down at Windsor, finishing second. Handicapper actually dropped him £1 for that. But yeah, I'd have thought he'll go straight there.
If I was asking you, Cheltenham, we've got 1 minute to talk about Cheltenham. What horse are you looking forward to? Your answer is going to be the New Lion, isn't it?
Sure. He's done nothing wrong. I think most likely the Turners. He'll have an entry in this. Well, he's got an entry as well in the Supreme, so just keep our options open, ground dependent, which way we might go. But look, it's most looking, like the Turners. We always hoped he might turn into what he has. It's nice that he has, and unassuming horse at home. Wouldn't blow you away, but he certainly gets the track, and he's performed very well.
Potentially the best potentially the most exciting horse you've rode at this stage of his career.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. He's right up there anyway. He's not short of speed, so yeah, our options are open for him.
Any chance Bridget come out of retirement riding the county hurdle? Because you could have a few in that, and she's good. She rides that race better than you do.
Yeah, yeah.
What would Bridget ride? What would Bridget ride? What's your few that could go for that?
We've got Valgrand. He's in there. Country Mile. He's also in there.
He'd be all right in good ground. Would he better ground?
Wants better ground.
Yeah.
We might we'll just see with him. We might look towards Aintree with him. Country Mile. It put a line through his last run. He ran too quick, and we ran him on poor ground. Yeah, wrong thing to do. So he might actually he's an option of going up to Kelso for the Premier Hurdle.
2.25.
Yeah, plenty of prize money on it there. He's an option of going there, or he could go to Kempton. So Valgrand, he's probably the most likely runner in the county.
Would Be Aware go for something like a Coral Cup?
Yeah, he's going to go straight for the Coral Cup. I think he's got a big chance. Stepping up to 2.5. He's ran over 2.5. So sorry, stepping up to 2.5. A distance that he's ran at before. We kept him at 2 mile this year early on because he can be quite headstrong, bit highly strung, can be a bit keen in his races, and he hasn't very much experience. So we've just sort of dropped him in twice. The last day Ascot rode him handy, but he was flat out. They went a real strong gallop in the in a handicap hurdle there.
In the
But he was
Greatwood,
staying on strong.
In the Greatwood, he kept working away, didn't he? He kept.
He did. He settled. Yeah, he settled well. But he's the type of horse now. If you jumped him off midway and got a bit of a bang off one, he'd take off and he'd blow his race by halfway. Like his mind, he can be a bit highly strung. But hopefully he's learned now a little bit more. I think he'll go well in the Coral Cup.
You're going to go with your strongest book, aren't you? Really? Hopefully.
I'd say so. I mean, last year we come out there with 4 winners, and you think, well, if
Mm.
you don't go and have 4 winners, or if you don't have 5 winners, you've had a bad year. But look, last year was unbelievable. 4 winners.
But
You
2 weeks
you
before
don't. e,
Cheltenham, you didn't think we wouldn't have thought you would have 4 winners. Where this time around, you're ticking them off, thinking big chance, big chance. Not saying 4 winners,
Yeah,
but you're going with depth, aren't you?
yeah, we're going with good chances, for sure. Um, and yeah, I think probably one. Yeah, I'm glad it's getting stronger, not weaker, anyway.
Hmm. It's exciting time of year, isn't it? No, January's just about over. February, and then the countdown to big money prizes. We're talking about David Power Cup, but it comes quick at you, doesn't it? Sandown Imperial Cup Day, Cheltenham, on to Aintree. I know the David Power Cup finishes on the eve of the Grand National, but it's an exciting time of year after Christmas for a jump jockey.
Yeah, it is. Especially now January was nearly out of the way. Um, After the flu jabs, all the horses, and but we've loads to run now that they're going really well, and um, yeah, loads to get into, and um, racing comes thick and fast, and like you say, lots of big races only just around the corner. 6 weeks now to Cheltenham, then only 19 days to Aintree, so yeah, it'll all be unfolding very soon, and like you say, as many points as I can on ITV, going up to Musselburgh on Sunday. Yeah, chasing some points.
What are you like nowadays? 35 years of age. After you've had a bad day, your granddad tells you you're rubbish. Your dad tells you you're average. Your brother tells you you're bang average. When you get home and you've got Bridget and Rory there, can you? And then you read social
And
media.
Rory doesn't give two
Yeah,
about how my day went.
yeah. But do you find that
Ah, day.
it's
Yeah,
it's
brilliant.
easier?
Yeah, it is easier. And social media, like you say, you read the good, you read the bad.
Yeah. Do you read
To be
it?
honest, just
Do you read? I.
I scroll down. I scroll down through what I think is very good for news. It's quick on the updates, but some of the things you read are
And
just
it's cracking
absolute
nowadays.
nuts.
Yeah.
Look, there's more negativity than there is positivity,
Mm.
but if that's what people want to bring into racing and bring into the world, and there's a lot of people on there that take a lot of enjoyment out of people's
Yeah.
wrongdoing, or made a mess, and to be honest, they're not worth read. It's not worth even rising to or reading anyway. Just probably says a lot about them. But yeah, getting back to Rory and Bridge, what it's all about, and
Mm.
trust me, Rory couldn't give two monkeys how my day went.
This is
Couldn't
good.
give a monkeys if I decked one,
Mm.
got beat, and soon puts me back into shape. So
Mm.
he's by far the best thing that's come into my life, and Bridget's.
When you pack in, hopefully healthy and a few, whatever, many years down the line, do you think you could work with Dan? Do you think
100%.
you'd like to do that? Would you?
Yeah, 100%.
Mm.
We speak about it often. Because like I say, I'm 35 now. I want to ride as long as I can. I love it.
Mm.
I love race riding. I love horses. I love the weighing room. It's a fantastic place to be. Um, and yeah, I think one day when I stop, we've got a lot of horses here. I want to work with Dan, and yeah, want to carry it on and keep the ship rolling.
If you won the David Power Jockeys Cup this year, next year, the year after that, would you not just like nip off to Barbados and say, "See you later"?
No, I don't think so. I couldn't do that. It'd be nice to win it once, but nah, I yeah, I enjoy working with horses, and I love racing. Racing's given me an awful lot. I want to stay in it for as long as I can.
Yeah, good. Well, you've give us an awful lot watching on. Champion jockey, 9 Cheltenham Festival winners, leading the David Power Jockeys Cup. Hopefully for you, you stay there. I'm looking forward to the party already. Hopefully I can stay in your house because you've stayed in my house. So return the favour, Harry. Great to catch up. Stay healthy and the best of luck for this season and the rest of your career. Thanks very much.
Cheers now.